everybody, welcome back to my channel. I just finished filming a different video and I just realized I had so much plant stuff to do that I decided I would start another one. So we are going to be doing another little chatty repot video. I think that I have like, I don't know, 6 or so things to repot, and I thought that I would have you join me. So I am going to be pulling from some topics from the last time I asked for topics. I'm going to be repotting these 2 little Hoyas, which are currently sitting in little pots made by my friend. So I'm really excited to have these little pots freed up, but more excited to have my plants in a bigger home. I'm kind of hesitant because I'm gonna be going from like this pot to these pots, but I feel like the plants will be happy. We'll just have to see. I'm gonna monitor them. But my De La Tanks mix is so like light and airy that I think that I could probably pot things up even slightly bigger than I would normally do, and they would be totally fine. So we're gonna put it to the test and see if that is truly the case. So while I prepare that, I'm gonna look at some of these questions. So somebody asked me, are there any home reno videos coming up, or is it just too much during the summertime? If you didn't know, we purchased our house in October of 2020, so last year. And it's not a fixer-upper, I wouldn't say. Also very cute little root system. Yeah, it could definitely use some space. But yeah, I wouldn't call this house a fixer-upper by any means. If I had like an unlimited budget, yeah, like I could probably do some stuff to it. But all in all, I feel like the house is like fine as is. I would love to like replace the floors and replace the countertops and, you know, just do stuff like that. But structurally, the house is fine. Like there's not much that we can really change about it. But I do have a second YouTube channel where I talk about little decorating things that I'm doing with the house and like updates and paint and things like that. Honestly, closer to renter friendly than anything. We're not renters, but like we're just not doing a lot of changes to the house basically. So I wouldn't say that we have any renos coming up. I do have some things that like I'm changing about the house, but it's all cosmetic. So I think I'm gonna be painting some doors because we do have some like hollow doors around the house that I just don't like they're like a wood color, and it just sucks in all of the light from the house. And so I wanted to do something to change that because, you know, I want our house to feel as light as possible because it is partially underground. It is an earth contact home, so naturally it is like a lot darker than most people's homes that are not earth contact. So I feel like I have to kind of work a little bit harder to keep everything nice and bright. Like I've been painting everything white, which I feel like having an all white home is kind of going out of style. But I think that that's what I need because it is so dark. So anyway, those are just some home reno thoughts, some home improvement thoughts rather. But I haven't been doing much this summer because I've been focusing on outside. I think that I decided for myself that I would focus on the inside of the house more in the winter time, and then I would focus on the inside, I'd focus on the inside in the winter and the outside in the summer, because I'm obviously like nothing's growing and stuff in the summer, in the winter outside. So anyway, first little plant is done. By the way, this is a Hoya compacta. I don't think I said that. And this is an experiment. Okay, so we're gonna see how much these roots travel because the root system is probably like right here, which like I would not typically do. But this pot was just getting to be way too small. Like the roots were completely surrounding it. So I feel like it was definitely time to pot it up. This one needed to be potted up a long time ago. Like there's basically no soil in this. Somebody asked where I see the plant market going in the next 2 years. And I think that I have 2 answers for that. One is a little pessimistic and one is a little optimistic. And I don't know which one I feel more like is more accurate. Well, I don't know, I guess there's good and bad to both of these, but I can definitely see the craze like slowing down in the next 2 years. Not going away, but just like people who were only in it for the money, like hopefully kind of going away. I don't know. Like that's gonna happen eventually. Like for sure it's gonna happen eventually, but like when is that eventually gonna come? I have no idea, but there's definitely people in the plant community who are just out to like make a quick buck. In the last chatty repotting video, I discussed how I felt about plant buy and resellers and stuff like that, and I couldn't figure out what was like a comparable comparison, but somebody said, or a few people said, ticket scalpers, I think is the phrase. So basically people who buy concert tickets right when they come out and then resell them for like quadruple the amount that they bought them for like no reason, and it doesn't benefit anybody but themselves. That stuff will hopefully slow down in the plant community in the next 2 years. Maybe people will be better at identifying those types of sellers, or they'll just get bored and realize that like there's more money in other things. So there's one possibility, and I think that that's probably more likely because the plant prices are actually dropping. And if you have your eyes and ears open, there's been some scuttle in the plant community of certain sellers or certain groups noticing that and not liking that. So then instead of like putting out their full stock or letting people sell like certain plants because the demand is going down, they're not wanting them to do that. They're wanting them to wait and like hold on to the demand so that it like rises up again. Like the demand isn't enough, so they want to pause selling until the demand returns, which is just kind of silly. And it's like creating a false sense of supply and demand. Like if the supply is there, you should sell it. But you know, obviously if certain plants have become more accessible, the price on them will go down. And that does unfortunately affect like small businesses in certain ways, but it also is like a really good thing to make plants more accessible. So that whole situation I feel like is a double-edged sword. It's like really hard to decide what is best. And I think it's one of those situations where it's good and bad at the same time. I don't know, it's hard to say. Anyway, these are both done now. And I'm gonna move on, and I'm going to do the Synapsis Pictus Exotica. And I'm going to be combining it with this beautiful plant that I found at a local store here in Columbia. I think it's called Basement Reef Marketplace, I believe. And they sell fish, not just any fish, like exotic fish. And they also sell plants. So really, really nice people. They hosted a plant swap that I went to, and they're just the best. And I saw this while I was at the plant swap, and I was like, I have to have it. So I decided I'm going to combine it with this one because this one is admittedly a little bit sparse, and I'd like her to be more full. But it's a bit sparse because it's just like a pot full of cuttings, you know, from the same plant I've had forever. Like I've literally just been like chopping and propping and planting it back into the pot for years, basically since the very beginning of my plant journey. And it's ready for something new. I'm gonna get this down to the roots and see what it looks like. The root system on this has never been very big. Oh yeah, look, it's so small. Such a small little root system. And the soil is coming away from it a lot easier this time I'm repotting. There's like the old soil mix that was wrapped around the roots when I first repotted it, and then like the De La tanks that is now like combined with all of that. So I'm just gonna give it like completely new soil and refresh it entirely, but hopefully I can keep it all in this pot because I don't really want to put it in another different pot. I like this shape and size for it. Actually, I think that this is gonna work out to go back in that pot. Thank goodness. Because this root system is pretty small actually. So when I combine the two, it will be perfect. Okay, this is a fun and easy one. My go-to coffee order. All right, so it's actually funny. I don't typically drink coffee, although I have been kind of enjoying it lately. But if I'm ordering coffee, what I normally get is like just like a latte, regular old latte. I mean, if they have like vanilla or caramel, like that's cool. Like if we're talking Starbucks coffee, I'd probably get like I don't know, if I had to get coffee. Honestly, I don't drink coffee enough to say whether like what my coffee order is. I usually drink chai, so I love chai a lot. I think it's like the best thing ever. I think that it also has caffeine in it, so like I get a little bit of a a thrill. But I mostly just drink chai. I have a chai that I make at home. It's from the company called Maya Tea or something, Maya Tea. And a lot of coffee shops in Tucson and Phoenix carry their chai. So when I found out that I could order it online and like have that familiar chai at home, I was sold and bought it immediately. I was so happy. It's a chai concentrate. So it's just the best chai I've ever had. It's like a combination of sweet and spicy, and it's delicious. So I do tend to be a little bit picky about my chai, and it's really one of the only ones that I super enjoy because I like for my chai to be sweet, but at the same time, like sometimes they're just too sweet and I like it to have a little bit of a punch, you know? So, all right, that is a very full pot. And then I have my long spindly pieces, which, what is that? Ah! Ah! That was a weird spider. I've never seen a spider like that. I don't usually kill spiders, I promise. I usually just put them outside, but that was weird and scary. Okay, I'm putting this circle trellis back in here because I liked the way that it looked. Sorry about that. I feel like I need a second to recover from that. These like circle trellises, I just kind of use the natural curves of the leaves and the vines to my advantage and just kind of snake things around as best as I can. And there she is. That looks really nice. I quite enjoy the way that that looks. I do have one more thing that I can repot. How long is this video? We have 17 minutes. One more plant, one more question. There's a few questions about my hair. So hold on, let me go get the other plant and then I'll tell you about my hair routine, the lowdown about my hair, because people ask me a lot. I mean, look at it, there's so much of it. It's a big topic of conversation. This is my Rapidophora tetrasperma, and I've been propagating it for a bit. So we have lots of roots here, and I'm going to probably pot it in this pot. That seems like a good match for the root system to continue to flourish. And I did propagate it in water. I have taken more to propagating in like moss and things like that. I'm actually propagating a piece of my elbow in moss right now, and I'm really, really nervous about it. But if it goes wrong, like my elbow is not like a tiny plant anymore, so like it's not gonna be the end of the world. There's definitely more where that came from. But yeah, so it takes a bit for water roots to switch to soil roots, like to get used to soil. So if you ever do propagate in water, you know, kind of expect there to be maybe a couple of leaf casualties because the plant is just trying to readjust to soil. And if you want to avoid that, you can propagate in, I think leca creates non-water roots, or maybe it does, I don't remember. But for sure, like sphagnum moss creates like regular strong roots. So if you're not wanting to take that transition risk, you can do that. But there are just some plants that take the transition really well, like pothos and obviously Rapidophora tetrasperma. Also, I'm gonna be done with this by the time I can even answer the question. So I'm gonna pause talking about the plant and talk with you about my hair. So my hair is long. It's been long for a very long time. Basically since high school, I've kept my hair pretty long. Although I look back at photos in high school and I don't think that it was like very long, but I felt like it was pretty long back then. Anyway, comparably, it's longer now. But the thing is, somebody told me that the reason that my hair can grow this long is because of genetics. So that's something to think about as well, because if you don't have like that genetic thing, your hair's, I've heard that your hair just doesn't grow past a certain point. So, you know, genetically, I think that my hair, like the length that it is right now, I don't think that it's really gonna grow past that. Maybe if I tried really hard, but it's like to my hip bone. If I tried really hard, maybe it would. But basically, when I decided that I wanted to grow my hair out and I wanted to be a long hair queen, I decided that I was going to get my hair cut every 3 to 4 months. I talked with my hairdresser about it, and I had been seeing the same hairdresser since I was a child, like a very young child. So she was able to keep me accountable. So I went every couple months, and as soon as I started doing that, my hair started growing like crazy fast. I think there's a lot of people out there who will be like, if you want your hair to grow, don't cut it. And I mean, I guess like that makes, I don't even think that makes sense, honestly. But that has not been the case in my experience. Your hair will grow, but it'll look really stringy, and that just like doesn't like look nice. Like it's better if your hair is like full all the way down. Washing stuff, I use Pros, which is a custom hair like subscription type of thing. And I've been doing that for almost a year now, and I really, really, really like it. I don't know, my hair feels so shiny and clean, and the bottles are pretty small, but at the same time, it just feels like it cleans my hair better than other shampoos that I've used like my whole life. So you can like customize, you know, based on what your hair needs or wants or whatever else. And I've been doing that, and I really like it. And I have a code down in the description box. I'll put it down there for you. It's basically just something that like anybody who subscribes can get. It's not like a sponsorship or anything. I've tried to connect with them for a sponsorship, but I guess I'm not good enough. Just kidding. I'm sure that they're putting their efforts elsewhere. I don't see them do a ton of influencer marketing, but I rarely put heat on my hair. My hair is naturally pretty straight though, so that is like, I don't know why I'm able to do that. I don't have to tame it in any way. When it's shorter, it's more wavy, but when it's long, it's just so heavy that it just stays pretty straight. And thank God it hasn't been super frizzy in the humidity, so I don't have to do like much taming. But I do like having it long, and I don't know, maybe when I have kids, I'll cut it. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me on this little repot. I got a lot done, and I'm really glad that I took advantage of this like burst of like, I want to repot something. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that I will see you guys in a video very soon. Bye.